Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of What's So Funny. Our guest today is the fabulous stunt magician extraordinaire, Wes Barker. And now the man we all know who gets really behind the mind and inside the details, and I don't even know what I'm saying, it's Guy McPherson.
No, you don't, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what I'm saying either.
Nobody does.
Nobody does. And he's not just a stunt magician. That's just what he says to get people to go, what the hell's a stunt magician?
Oh, it worked.
He's just a magician.
Yeah.
Wes Barker, and comedian.
Yes.
Right?
Indeed, yeah. I like to cover it all.
I saw you last doing stand-up comedy at the Comedy Mix.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, that's nice. I like when I get to do just straight stand-up sometimes. It's good. It's challenging.
Is it becoming less frequent?
Me doing just stand-up? Or?
Yeah, like is your magic taken off?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I still do stand-up to try and make my show all around better. So, yeah, like magic is taken off for sure, but I always go out and do just stand-up to make sure that it's not just me hiding behind my tricks on stage.
Hiding behind your what?
Hiding behind my tricks.
Oh, your tricks. I thought you said hiding behind my church on stage.
Oh, no.
It was kind of like an altar there for it.
A little bit.
But that's okay. We've had, I was just telling Wes before we came on the air, we've had our fair share of magicians on. We had Camillo on, Camillo the magician.
Yeah.
He was a magician.
Yeah, he's...
Randy Chirac, most recently. You, this is your second time here. Your first time was 2014.
Yeah. So, I mean, you like me so much every 3.5 years. That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
And before you were back in 2014, you hadn't done didn't have all these credits that you have now. I'm thinking, why did I even have you on in 2014?
I don't know. I must have been a favor to somebody, but I think because of the show, then everything took off.
Because of this show,
it must have been. It was.
Yeah.
It seems like it's right in that spot where
sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because let's tell our listeners what you've been doing. I saw you on because I made this a nightly viewing with my son. We would watch Penn Teller Fool Us.
Nice.
And then there was Wes.
Boom.
I go, that guy was on my show. And for those that don't know, Penn and Teller invite maybe 3 or 4 different magicians on each episode, and they try to fool basically Teller, but Penn is the guy who does the talking. And I'd say 80-90% of them don't fool.
That's about right. Yeah.
Right. They don't give any tricks away, but and it's fantastic for the audience. So we don't know. They're not fooling us. They're right, or they are fooling us. That's right. And then Wes goes on there and fools them.
It is impossibly difficult to fool them, and it is even more difficult to perform in front of, like, for sure, every magician's like idols, you know what I mean? Those guys are at the top of your the respect list as far as magicians go. So you're on their stage on national TV trying to fool these guys, and it is nerve-wracking. And then when I get out there and I actually fooled them, if you watch the clip back and you look at my face, like, I am in just as much shock as anybody else.
I have a question about that though, because I did watch it, and they thought they knew how you did the trick.
They thought they knew.
They thought they knew,
much.
And then you said, "Oh no, that's not it." And then they say, "Okay, well then I guess you fooled us." And it's like, is that it? You just got to tell them that you didn't fool me?
Well, Penn's got a little earpiece in his ear, and you tell the 2 magician producers backstage how the trick's done, right? So if he guesses and he's wrong or whatever, they're in his ear being like, yeah, he's not lying to you. That's not how the trick's done. So they make sure
you can't just
lie to them. But Penn was so sure. And the way Penn guessed is the way I did the trick for 2.5 years. I only changed it up maybe a week before the show. I woke up in the middle of the night. I'm like, I have an idea. Run to the other room and make this little thing. And I'm like, oh, it works. And I went back to sleep. And then I can't believe I changed it that close to the show, because when I performed it, for sure he guessed the thing that I used to do, and it would have worked fine, but that's not how I do it anymore. I showed them backstage.
Oh, you did?
Oh, I could not. I walked off stage, and then Penn and Teller, they come running back and whip open the curtain, and Teller's just like, how? And when Teller speaks introduced you. It's the weirdest thing in the world. And you're like, and I just told them right away. Like, took me like 2 seconds, and Penn's just like, and he just kicks open this door and walks down the hall. And Teller thought it was the greatest thing in the world. He's like, oh, he's gonna be mad for days. This is the best. But
That's great.
Yeah, it was super good. It was yeah.
So that's just an idea that came to you, a variation on the trick.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just like it's like a method. It's kind of nerdy magic stuff, really, when it comes to it. But it was like, it's a method that didn't really exist. I was using a classic method for a long time, and then I kind of came up with my own idea. And that's definitely one way to fool Penn and Teller, is to invent something they don't know about.
Mm-hmm. And can we tell the listeners what the trick was? Can you describe it?
Yeah, the best way to describe it is I take a phone book. What's that? Google it. I take a phone book, and
it's a big book.
And I let I bring someone on stage, and they pick a page number and write it down. And then I rip the phone book in half, super strong. And then they take the loose pages, they throw them in the air. I grab a sword and I stab the page, and the page I stab is the page that they wrote down. So it's strong man mixed with some
two elements to this.
Yeah.
And did they have to guess just one of the elements,
or
both? So they didn't even attempt to say how you did the ripping the phone book.
Yeah, they sort of said it out loud, and I expect them to. Penn's like, we know strongman acts, so we know how the phone book is ripped, and they even know there's an old trick called a card stab. And you do it with a deck of cards. You take a sword and stab a card, and they know that. So then the only thing left was to know how I got the right page, how I even knew what page it was.
Right.
And that's the part that they missed. And then, in fairness to them, it's nice that they guessed that instead of just picking on the things they already knew, because they like to keep it. They like to be fooled. So they weren't going to take the low hanging fruit they already knew. They're like, okay, this is the part we don't know. Let's guess at that. And it was super fun. They had to cut out a lot of Penn freaking out and swearing at me because he was so certain he knew. He was on his feet. He was yelling. He's like, "Are you kidding me?" It was great. It's the best day ever.
And what was the rest of your night like?
Drinking and partying.
Yeah.
And I'm with 10 other magicians that film
in
that.
Vegas.
Yeah. It's in Las Vegas, and they're comping everything. It's like a great time. But you film I think 10 or 12 of us in one day. And that day I was the only one to fool them. So I am just partying hard, and all these other guys just are not in the same mood I'm in. So it was my brother's birthday that day too, so he was there with me in the audience. So it was just a good time. Oh my god!
Yeah.
And that's great because I've been on a lot of TV shows, and they've always gone okay, but I've never won. I've never done I've never walked out being like, that was the best way that can go.
Going into it, did you think you would? And do you think most magicians going into that show think, I got him? Or do they go on just for the exposure?
Man, I think a lot of magicians go in thinking they're going to fool them, and a lot of them go in saying, "Oh, I don't care if I fool them," but secretly they really want to fool them.
Yeah.
I was told by the producers, and then even after I explained the trick to the magic producers backstage, I was told by everybody that I am there just for the audience. That Penn and Teller will totally see through this, and you are there because you are really funny and really animated, and you're like a great performer, and the audience is going to love it. And I said, that's fine by me. And then I get there, and no one knew I was going to fool them, especially not them. And they'd already met me before at this other show I was on called Wizard Wars, and it was like another magic show. It only lasted one season on Sci-Fi, but they'd already met me there, and so they knew my style, like be super funny, and the magic will be good, but I'm there to make people laugh and then trick them sort of second. And so I think they were a little bit disarmed by that watching me too. They're like, oh, here's Wes, okay. And I think they kind of let their guard down, maybe. And that's probably why I snuck by them. But man, I can't tell you, and I kind of retired that trick. People, they booked me all over the place after that show, and then I don't even perform that trick anymore.
Why not?
I do it sometimes on special requests, but I have so much other stuff I'm trying to get out there, and I have a new trick, and I'm trying to go back on Fool Us to try and fool them again. So I've been workshopping this new trick for the last year. And
So will that be difficult to get on a second time?
They like to bring back a couple foolers every year.
Well, Sean Farquhar,
he's been on twice. Yeah,
he's fooled them twice.
He's fooled them twice.
By the way, he'll be our guest next Sunday night, and he says hi, Wes.
Well, yeah, hi, Sean. He's fooled them twice, but I'm still better looking, so it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You gotta find.
Hey, you win, man.
Well, you're younger.
That's all it is, I think.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And if you hadn't fooled them, it still would have been great exposure, but that's a little extra, you think? A little notch in your belt?
That's a little extra bump. If I hadn't fooled them, I think, it was great. I mean, it was like, yeah, I would have left there feeling like that was fine too, because that trick is, I've done it for so long, and I just know people are going to have a good time with it, so it didn't matter to me. It really, really didn't matter to me. But and a guy like Sean going back the second time, I think the second time's worse. I mean, if you've already fooled them once, if I go back again, I mean, I think it's like, wow, you better fool them again. That must be a lot more different feelings. But the first time when you have nothing to lose, it's everything just fun.
So are you constantly creating new tricks? And were you in 2014 when you were here?
Yeah, in 2014 I was creating new tricks. It was really at the start of everything for me. Like I'd already, I'd quit my job in 2011, so I was doing it. But I was doing a lot of other people's magic and old magic and classic magic. And right around 2014, I was really branching out to do my own stuff. And I started my own theater show. And then the more unique stuff I started putting out there, I got these, I started getting hits on YouTube. I mean, before then, I was putting up tricks on YouTube all the time, trying to get noticed. Nothing. 2014, I do a big show in Vancouver at the Vogue Theater, film it, cut up little clips, put it on YouTube, 5 minutes. 3 5-minute clips, and they went crazy viral. By the end of 2014, I had 5 or 6 million views.
Right, because they're full of naked women. That's
not only one out of the three.
Okay.
Only one out of the three. But
the one that I watched.
That's a good thing.
The one that you watched. You're the guy who got 1,000 or a million views on that one.
Right, but also viewers can watch the thing in total.
Yeah.
In whole.
Yeah, maybe not anymore. I might have.
You can.
Okay.
I watched a good chunk of it last night.
Oh, well, perfect.
Yeah.
Did you get to the naked lady part?
No, I didn't. I had to see that
right.
separately
Jeez.
today on its own little video.
Last night.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, now I mean, YouTube is a big part of my life now.
So
sure.
has your style or the kind of tricks that you do now compared to 3 years ago changed?
Yeah, the style has changed a lot because now I fly to 90% of my gigs. So I'm very conscious about the tricks I do. Got to be able to fit in like 1, maybe 2 cases. Mostly trying to get into 1 case. Back then, if I was doing a theater show, it was definitely just like a local thing. So I think for that show in like 2014, I would have done a big show. I would have rented a U-Haul and brought in like big tricks. But I also
those big boxes.
Yeah, big boxes and stuff. But now my comedy has gotten a lot better, and
Is that true, Sam?
Very much. Wes used to work out a lot at a room I ran for a while, and he's still at 7, right? You go down there and you...
Was there last week?
Joke. Oh, phenomenal. So, yes, he's very funny.
There you go.
Okay,
See, I'll take it.
Seal of approval
from Sam.
from me.
All right.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, so now everything, I try and make it so I can fit in 1 case. I tour a lot of colleges and stuff, so it's I really give it, 50-50 comedy magic, and... yeah, some things don't make the cut because you just can't fly with them like a big box. It just can't be done.
Not until you get to that stage where you have your own plane.
Yeah. When I get to that stage, for sure, I'll be no problem.
Yeah.
Oh,
and is it, I mean, like stand-up, they say, it's going to take you 10 years to get really good.
Yeah.
You constantly improving in magic, too?
Oh, yeah. I'd say there's directly correlation between stand-up and magic as far as how long it takes to be good. And I look back and I think I get that. Like, I'll never forget, you're a couple years in and you learn a bunch of tricks. You think you're pretty good and you go, man, I should be on the Tonight Show or something. And then you get a few years ahead of that and you go, wow, thank God I wasn't on the Tonight Show. I would have ate it so bad. So every time I always want something and it doesn't happen, years later I go, that's good. Like, I think 2015 I did America's Got Talent, and that was the right time for that, and same with Fool Us. Like, things you probably would have wanted before, but it's probably better you get them later. Just like in stand-up, I'm sure it's always going to be better later. Mm-hmm. So that's,
It's just hard to accept in the moment.
It's super hard to accept in the moment. Even now I feel that way all the time. I'm like, someone should give me a TV show, or I need a Netflix special. They don't give to magicians anyways, which is a whole other thing. But, yeah.
Yeah, going back to Penn and Teller, every week, I don't know how many years they've been doing this, but it's amazing because we all know a handful of really famous magicians.
Right.
And there are hundreds, thousands, I guess, because every week they have 3 or 4 on.
Yeah. I mean, and those are only the good ones. Like, there is so many magicians. It's weird because in comedy, we can all name this, like, super famous ones, obviously, and then we can just name like a crazy amount. Even like just your average person who kind of likes comedy can name a crazy amount of really good, like mid-level working magicians or comedians, right?
Yeah.
And with magicians, that doesn't exist. It's super famous, or I've never heard of you at all.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
And yet, many of them can make a living doing corporate gigs.
Oh, yeah.
Things that, the average person wouldn't ever see.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
not on TV. What else would they be doing? Birthday parties?
Yeah, I mean, some guys will work the whole variety of things.
Cruise ships.
They'll do a lot of cruise ships, corporate events, some colleges, birthday parties and upscale events like that. A lot of fairs and festivals that sort of happen. And then a lot of stuff just happening overseas. Like, I get random phone calls sometimes. I got to go to Indonesia for like just a little... literally like a 15-minute show somewhere. Like, it's the weirdest.
You do?
Me, yeah.
When's this?
No, I did it last year.
Oh, I see.
It's just the craziest stuff you randomly get pulled out to. I flew me to Singapore for one 30-minute show for some company event, and these are the kinds of things. But when if you have a friend that's a magician, you say, "Where can I see you?" The answer is like probably never anywhere. It's always these random private events somewhere. But some guys make crazy money doing.
Except for now on YouTube.
Yeah, that's why I do YouTube, because I'm like, okay, I gotta start getting a fan base that is real, and not just relying on these corporate events and crazy gigs all around the world,
Yeah, I know. I've subscribed to a couple magic YouTube. I don't know who they are though. Yeah. There's Sankey.
Oh yeah, Jay Sankey.
Sankey, he's Canadian,
Toronto,
right? Yeah. And then I wrote it down here. Just can't find it. Another guy. Oh, Chris Ramsey.
Chris Ramsey, he's a good buddy of both those guys. You'll nail them. Two great Canadian magicians.
Oh, I didn't know Chris Ramsey.
Yeah, he's Montreal. Chris Ramsey, good friend. He really blew up this last year on YouTube. He's great. Right now, the moment we're having this conversation, I'm in the middle of doing a video a day every day for a month. Right? So I've been doing a YouTube video every day. It's just a crazy idea. But one of the videos I've done already is I've challenged Chris Ramsey to a game of basketball. So I'm flying out to Montreal on the 27th to play him in basketball for a YouTube video.
So it has nothing to do with magic.
Nothing. We'll probably do a magic video as well. But I don't know why. I'm just like, he thinks he's a good basketball player. So I thought, okay, I'm going to call him out.
And you are too?
I actually played university basketball. So
you what?
Yeah, I know. I'm 5'9".
Where?
University of the Fraser Valley.
Wow. Who was your coach?
His name was Pat Lee. And honestly, I mean, played is relative. I got on the team, and then I just watched.
That's good.
Yeah.
Best seat in the house.
It was so good.
And does he have any creds? Chris Ramsey?
Nothing. He just played. He's 6'3", and he played in high school and thinks he's pretty good. So I thought, you know what, you could probably beat me with he's big into like cardistry and that card magic. He's got more card skills than me, but I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna challenge him to something I can't beat him in. I'm gonna challenge him to basketball.
This is like the other day, Roger Federer challenged Klay Thompson of the Golden State Warriors to a ping pong match.
That's what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Let's just get off this into an even playing field here.
Yeah. Let's do that. And by the way, people, today I played in a ping pong tournament all day. I lost in the first round in the singles, and then lost in the finals of the doubles.
Did you play against your kids?
No, these were grown-ups.
Or kid, sorry.
Grown-ups.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my kid was not invited.
You lost in the singles and then made it to the finals in the doubles?
Yeah, that's right.
So you were severely the weakest link?
I was the weakest link, for sure. We were up 2-0 and then lost 3-2.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. Anyway. So here's what I want to ask about the YouTube magic.
Yeah.
I watch these things, and they teach you how to do tricks. I'm like, why are you giving away the milk for free? Is that the right expression?
Honestly, that's a big one right now. And it's the magic community is going through a big shift right now where people are like, well, if you invented the trick, I guess you can give it away for free if you want. It used to be you'd sell magic, you'd put a DVD together of how you do tricks,
right.
and then people just started bootlegging it, and you know what I mean, and ripping it off for free and whatever. So everyone's like, well, if I put it on my YouTube channel, I'll make YouTube ad revenue and I'll create a fan base, and it seems to work.
It does, but is it killing the art?
I don't think so.
Because you think it's only the real magic nerds that are going to be watching it, and they appreciate the art form so much they're not going to say, hey, I know how you did that.
That's just it. They're not going to like call you out if they ever see you performing live, and even if they know how the tricks worked, guaranteed they're going to be the guys in the back of the room going like, wow, he's doing this really well. You know?
Right, just noticing like Penn and Teller do.
Yeah.
They'll say, we know how you did that, but you did it beautifully.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then a guy like Chris Ramsey is a great example where he doesn't do live shows. Like he might do like corporate events, but you're not going to catch Chris on a stage somewhere performing. Not a lot of guys do it like I do it, where I'm like, my end goal is more live touring. I want to create fan base just to sell out shows when I go into other cities. A lot of these guys, they like just doing YouTube magic, and this kind of is their goal. So it's kind of hard to say like they'll just teach magic and perform magic on YouTube, and they're never going to be in a situation where they might get called on something or have to deal with it outside of that. So it's kind of a weird thing, but it's true.
Our guest this week is Wes Barker, comedy magician, stunt magician. The show is What's So Funny? Station CFRO 1. Let's try that again. Station CFRO 100.5 FM, Vancouver Co-op Radio. I'm Guy McPherson. Sam Tonning is in the other room.
I am, yeah.
And Wes, here's an idea, because you do comedy, and we know every single night of the week there's an open mic or a room, not necessarily an open mic, but a room where people can go and work out. Why isn't there something like that for magic? There are enough, you'd say, probably at the same level of comedian, amateur or pro or semi-pro comedian. So I'm sure there's that in Vancouver. And say you go up, hey, who wants to be on this week?
Yep.
And, it's something that the average fan can see, and somebody's working on a new trick.
I have the answer for you. I've explored this many times. This is why I got involved with the comedy community in Vancouver, and this is why I have more friends that are comics and magicians. It's because that's something that the comedians do that magicians don't do. Comedians go out every night and work on their stuff, and they put strong emphasis on creating, or you have to be original when you're a comedian, and you have to get out there and you have to work it 1,000 times. Magicians just don't share that, generalizing here, but like I've tried to get magicians. When magicians find out that I go to comedy rooms to test out new magic, they can't believe it. They think I'm joking. They think I'm crazy. And that's why...
Why, though?
Because...
How are they practicing?
Because they forget. Okay, comedy, you can't really tell if a joke's great until you get it in front of an audience and see what their reaction is.
Yeah.
A magic trick, you can practice at home and know if it's good or not. But the big thing that magicians are forgetting is the audience is the most important part. So they can get technically perfect at a magic trick at home on their own, just filming themselves and rewatching it. So they don't need you, or so they think. So they can just practice their tricks until they get it perfect. But they forget, and that's what I'm always saying, like, you guys need to test this in front of someone. Quit looking at your hands. Who cares about your move? I don't give a crap if your move's any good. That's why other magicians sometimes criticize me on my sleight of hand or whatever, right? I'm like, I don't care. I'm all about the audience. If they're having fun, I'm having fun. And these guys go up there with their perfect sleight of hand, and no one in the audience gives a crap, and everyone just looks at them like, who is this guy? Why am I caring?
So are they hobbyists where they're happy doing it to their friends and family?
I would say so. But
how many in Vancouver do you think there are that are performing magicians?
Like actual performing magicians, or like there's like over 100. Like if there's like magic meet, like you have like a lecture every month. There's a magic lecture and stuff. There's hundreds of magicians in Vancouver.
There you go.
And then there's got to be a dozen that do it like full time, and then probably another couple dozen that do it part time. There's probably
that's amazing.
30-something magicians you could hire for a gig, easy in Vancouver, easy.
And that are good.
That are solid, yeah.
Wow. So if you put on an open mic for magic,
yeah.
And how many would that be? How many comics show up at a night?
Like
5 to 7,
5, 7, 10, whatever.
Yeah.
That's how many.
So. And there are hundreds of magicians. They'd only need to go on once every couple months.
This is the thing, though. Every magician that gets on that show, they're all going to do the same trick because they have no emphasis on originality. So they're all going to go up there and do the same trick. Wait,
are you saying the hundreds of these good, solid magicians are just going to be doing the same trick? No, I guess that would be the thing for the sign-up. Okay, what trick are you doing? No, you can't. Wes is doing something like this.
Improve the set list before coming on.
I had a dude... I had a dude walk on stage after me at a college conference showcase, and I said, hey man, I'm on before you. These are the tricks I'm going to do, just in case you have anything that's kind of close. Like, let's not do it. And he's like, yep, no, I'm good, man. I'm like, great. And then I did my set, and then he walked on stage and did one trick that was like identical to the trick I just did. And I was like, what do you do? Everyone's looking at me like, did that guy just steal your trick?
Yeah.
It was so awkward for him. I don't even know why he did it. But people just don't. Because magicians get a little bit lazy. You can like, I'm gonna read this trick, buy a book, read how the trick's done, and they perform it, and then everyone falls in love with the same 5 tricks, and it's endlessly frustrating for me, and that's why I'm pushing myself so hard to be original, and that's why I spend a lot of time around comedians, because they don't let you not. I mean,
Well, it's the same 5 dick jokes. For comedians.
That's true
right?
too. But
Some variations.
that makes sense.
Whoa, hey, come on, guys.
Hey, we should say that if people want to see some performing magicians, you're part of a show Saturday, October 21st at the Michael J. Fox Theater in Burnaby.
Yep.
It's M, the Magic Show. I assume M is for magic?
I don't know. When it came up to naming this show, I threw out a bunch of ideas that got shot down, and they were all brilliant. So I don't know.
Better than M, though?
Well, M is definitely for magic, yeah.
So this is going to be 5 magicians, well, 1 pair. Trevor and Lorena Waters.
Trevor and Lorena,
Lorena.
they do like a illusion show. Like if she gets in the box, vanishes, that kind of thing. They're like proper illusion magicians. They're funny. They're great.
Like big box magic.
Yeah, but they've won. They're like North American champions. Like
really?
Oh yeah.
And where are they from?
Excuse me. They're from. They live in Surrey.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then also Vitaly Beckman.
Vitaly Beckman's been on Fool Us, also fooled Penn and Teller.
Really?
Just last year.
Oh, I gotta see that.
And he is the most original magician I know.
And also local.
And also a local. Yeah, everyone here is local. I would say Vitaly, like I'm for sure the funniest magician on this panel that's coming up, but Vitaly is definitely the most original.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be good.
Kel.
Kel he's great. It's hard to say because I've never seen Kel do a full show. I just know him. I've seen him do like, little spots here and there, and he's solid, but this will be the most I've ever watched him do in one go. So I'm really excited. I'm actually, as a fan of magic, I'm excited to see the show just because this is one guy that I'm going to get to watch do a solid set that I've never seen. So I'm excited.
This is interesting too. Comedians, some are accused of playing to the back of the room to the other comedians instead of the audience. That must happen in magic a lot because you want the respect of your peers.
Right.
Coming up with something new or creative, inventive, as well as, the audience would then love it too.
100%.
Is that a danger? Like you say, I don't care about my sleight of hand as long as the audience is enjoying it. So you're not playing to the back of the room. You're not playing to other magicians.
No, and only because it suits my personality. Like even sometimes on stage, I will give away I'll give away a trick a little bit. If it's funny, if the joke is funnier than the actual trick. Like I have one trick right now where I'm basically doing mind reading and I fool the entire audience. They think I just read this guy's mind perfectly. And then at the end of the trick, I turn around and what the guy's thinking of is just written on the back of my shirt. Like he walked on stage and he just read the back of my shirt, but the audience thought I read his mind. So like if I just left it there, I mean, they would blow their mind, but then I turn around to shake his hand and the whole audience can see, right? And the only reason I do that is just because that is funnier. It's funnier than the trick is good. So every now and then I'll do that. But if you're playing to the back of the room, you wouldn't. You'd hold that to a high standard and you'd,
that's cheap.
Yeah.
I gotta say, so you're not treating yourself as just a magician or just a comedian. You're about entertaining the people in the room with you.
100%, man. I'm literally trying to push into this new area that I don't think's explored very well. I know 1,000 magicians out there that call themselves comedy magicians, and I got to be honest, I just don't really see that. Like, I don't believe them. Like that.
What do you mean you don't believe them?
Well, like because they're not pushing the boundaries in the right way. They're doing the same tricks and they're saying the same jokes. Like literally, like you can watch 10 comedy magicians and you're just going to see this crazy. As a comedian, you'd call it hack. I mean, I
was going to ask you, what is hack in magic?
It's the same, but the standard is way less. Like it's crazy because no one's doing public performances. Everyone is doing corporate events, so you don't care. There's no overlap. It's not like you're going to run into each other or be on the same show or whatever. If you go to a cruise ship and perform on a cruise ship, they almost they do prefer hack magic. I did 2 cruise ships last October. It's the first time I've ever done cruise ships. My first show on a cruise ship, I walked 200 people at my show. It seats
once?
It seats 1,000 people, and 200 people walked out of that show because I walked on stage, made a joke, everyone laughed. Made another joke, everyone laughed. Made another joke. This guy in the third row goes, "The comedian was yesterday." And I was like, okay, well, hey, buddy, you're not going to like the rest of the show if you don't like that. And then I realized the audience wasn't on my side. And he goes, "Just do the tricks, magician." Jeez. And I'm like, uh-oh. And they just started leaving. And because they wanted their magic-y. They wanted music and lights and glitter and an assistant and boxes. And I'm just like, oh, you want the same thing you've seen on every ship you've ever been on. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not giving you that.
What did the cruise director say?
He yelled at me a lot after the show. And I'm like, dude, you booked me. This is on you.
Yeah, it says right on your website.
It says right on my website. Every video, I have 100 videos on YouTube. You can watch all of them, and they are all what I do.
And it's also a way to set up getting to your magic.
That's what I think too. And people like to hear a story. They like to laugh. And then I am for sure, anyone listening to this, don't get me wrong. I will blow your mind with some magic for sure. But I just don't think magic should be taken that seriously. Like we're not really doing magic. They're tricks. Why are we pretending otherwise? They're tricks. They're fooling. They're great. They're fun to watch. And I want to make you laugh along the way. So that is the high priority. I don't know. I get really passionate about it because I just feel so right about this. And I when I talk to other magicians, I feel like I'm the only one sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but then
Thanks, Wes.
I appreciate that. But when you have Sean Farquhar on next week, he will say maybe the opposite.
There's so many different styles. So many different takes of ways of doing magic. There's the magicians that are very theatrical, that don't say a word, and they come out and they dance to music.
And that's great, and I love that. And that's the thing. I'm such a fan of magic. I love magic. I love watching David Copperfield. I love watching a guy like Darcy O come out, just dove act. I love watching Sean Farquhar sit down and do beautiful card magic to music. I love it. It doesn't suit me. And I guess that's my only thing. People doing a style of thing that doesn't suit them. And a lot of magicians, they think they know what magic looks like, so they're going to wear the tuxedo and they're going to walk out. And it's like, hey man, you're a totally different person off stage. Like, why don't you embrace that? You know how comedy's always better when someone's doing something that's organic to them and they're not trying to just pretend. You know what I mean? And oh man, to see someone just embrace who they are. I did it before. I wore suits and I walked out.
Oh, did you? You had to go through that to realize what you weren't.
Yeah, I walk out, dove, fireball. Like it was just not me though. It was not me. So as soon as I started calling attention to it and making fun of it a little bit, I just became so much better. And then that's when my YouTube blew up. That's when TV wants to start having me. And all my magician buddies like, how you get all these spots? I'm like, I'm literally just trying to do me as hard as I can. And all these other people are going, wow, this is something we don't have yet. That's why stunt magician wasn't even a phrase. Like I own stunt magician everything because no one had even, people think it's just like a common, oh, stunt magician, that's cool. I'm like, no, literally me and my buddy Dave invented the term stunt magician, and now you can go on agencies and book a stunt magician.
Really?
Because it sounds like it should have been there the whole time, but it wasn't.
Should have copyrighted that.
I definitely should have. And I don't even really do stunts anymore. It's just the weirdest situation to be in.
You talk about the comedy magicians.
Yeah.
And I like all styles of magic. But when you see the funny ones, they tend to be guys who either aren't the most technically gifted magicians, or else they play that up. Like, I'm just sort of an incompetent, I'm going to make a bunch of mistakes, and I'm going to have a patter that's kind of vaudevillian.
Right.
And, I'm a sucker for that too, but it's all kind of that ilk.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I would say a lot of that bumbling and that, kind of magician in trouble, screw up type thing is done on purpose. A lot of these people, I think everyone starts in magic in the same spot, wanting to be perfect and training really hard to be really good. And obviously, yeah, if you go down a funny way, then messing up is actually funny, as long as you can pay it off in the end.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's the best way to go. But I like having a character that's not polished on stage, because it does allow a little bit of room for like messing up, and that it disarms the audience. So you actually get away with some amazing sleight of hand because they're not really prepared. They're like, is this part of the show, or did he drop that on purpose? What's going on? Like, because it's not so timed out to music perfect that, I find it, that's where I get a lot of my misdirection is in people wondering is this part of the show? What's going on here? Why is his pants off? Is his pants supposed to be off?
It's very forgiving when you make a mistake.
I think so, yeah.
Hey, in comedy, Vancouver has a very close, I think, community compared to what I hear in other cities.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of infighting in the magic community?
I've seen quite a bit here and there, but I've stayed right out of it, and all my firsthand experience has been super positive. Like, oh, hey, I need to borrow this. Anyone have that? Okay, where do I get? Oh, where do you get this new trick? Or I need some more flash paper, or whatever weird magician items you might want to get. And people are just so helpful. I made a bunch of great friends in the magic community. But you do hear about infighting all the time. But a lot of it has to do with he stole my trick. That's my trick, or whatever. Same as like you'd hear of like, oh, he's doing my joke, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah. Where did I? Maybe there was a documentary on magic I saw where somebody.
There's a documentary on Netflix right now, and that might be called like Magician Impossible or something. I don't remember what it's called, but
it just follows like 5 different magicians.
That's the
one guy was accusing Chris Angel or something.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's on Netflix. Yeah, that's like the only magic you can find on Netflix other than Fool Us, which I'm on episode 5. It can happen for sure. But mostly, I'd say the magic community is really solid. And what's really solid about magic community is going to another country in the world and just saying, I'm a magician. Where can I perform? Can someone help me? And then people are just so helpful. Like, oh, let me help you with that. I remember just emailing random magicians being like, I'm going to be on America's Got Talent. Any advice? Like guys that have been on that I'd never spoken to. Mm-hmm. And then getting back like a page response from these dudes that had done America's Got Talent. Like, they didn't have to take half an hour out of their life to write me this response, but they're like, yeah, I love magic. You're a magician. I'll help you. And
that's great. What kind of advice would they give you?
Make sure to sell your story. They're in it for the story. Don't think you're going to go in there and choose whatever tricks you want. The producers are going to tell you what's going to go on, and you just make sure to tell a really, really strong story they want, and all the advice I didn't listen to.
What's the story of you getting out of a straitjacket before your junk is shown on a big screen?
It's the best. America's Got Talent called me. They're like, can you come be on the show? And I was like, okay. Like, they don't make you audition when you're a variety act, really. They'd sort of just find you on YouTube and say, we want you to come out.
That's great.
Yeah, because if they just did straight auditions, they'd get way too many music acts and stuff, right? So for variety act, they normally just call you if they like you and say, come out. So they're like, give me 6 days notice to go on the show. They're like, come to New York, be on the show. And I'm like, oh, okay, I got lots of ideas. They're like, no. We got the tricks that you're going to do. We found them on YouTube.
The tricks that you already do.
Yeah, that I already do. Yeah. They just saw my videos. They're like, we want you to do the appearing beer can, which involves me taking my shirt off in front of the audience, but I got to take my shirt off in front of 20 million people or whatever in like 5 days. I was feeling kind of fat at the time. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this, but like I went on like a hardcore diet of like green tea and throwing up a lot, and I got to a good spot, and I went and did the show. First round, they didn't even air it. Actually, it went great, but they didn't air it, and I was like, oh, whatever. Then the second round, I get to, and they want me to do this other trick, which also involves sort of nudity. It's like a timer screen where there's a box shrinking, and behind it's a naked photo of me, and I'm trying to escape a straitjacket, and it went amazingly well. Also, but something to do with me being Canadian, not having the right visa. And I just didn't get to advance. I just got to do 2 rounds, and they're going to say nice things, and you sign all this NDA saying you'll never talk about this, and I just don't care.
Good. Like, what are they going to do?
Oh, nothing. Exactly. Yeah, I crushed it. I got some great footage of Howard Stern loving me. Michael Bublé was the guest.
Local homeboy.
Yeah, so second round, there's a guest judge. You don't know who it is, so you walk on stage. I walk out there, and it's Bublé. And I'm like, literally, I walk on there. I'm like, Bublé, I'm from Langley. I just shout that out. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, like Langley. And he's like, no way. He's like, okay, I got your back. And then they start filming.
This was before they...
Right when I'm walking on stage. No one knew what was going on, why I was yelling at Michael Bublé. And no one even knew the term Langley, right? Like, except for him. So afterwards, he comes backstage like, how are you even here? Like, we're both just randomly in New York, and it's not really supposed to be open to Canadians, so he was so confused, but it was super fun, and I did really well. And everyone's like, are you going to go back one day when you get your visa sorted and whatever? I'm like, maybe. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll go over and try Britain's Got Talent too. I already did Canada.
You did Canada's Got Talent.
Yeah, so I want to do all the Got Talents. I think they're fun.
Yeah, how could you go to Britain's Got Talent when you're not in Britain?
I don't know. I'm going to try and figure it out, though. It'll be fun.
Yeah. And so did you get to talk with Bublé after, or Howard Stern, or Howie Mandel?
Just for a second.
Heidi Klum, or who else is on there?
No, they run them hard all day long, like 14 hours of shooting. Like when they get free time, they go away pretty quickly. So you mostly just meet some other acts, and you just become super good friends with these other acts because you're stuck in this holding area talking to each other for like 12 hours.
What kind of acts were you friends with?
Like another magician, Steve Brundage, Rubik's Cube magician. He's amazing. I met a couple comedians that were super good guys. I met another magician named Aiden, who's just like beauties. They sort of try and lump similar acts together. That way you can talk like shop, and they kind of film it backstage and listen to it, whatever. But I don't know. This is a really cool experience. Made really good friends with the hypnotist, and then since then we've done some college shows together. It's just been really
what a great experience.
Yeah. And hypnotism, I never really knew much about it, but and after touring with Chris Jones a little bit, it's people love it. I never had any experience. I've never been hypnotized or anything, but watching it, the crowd loves it.
They do.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really comment too much about it. I mean, I'm just going to stick with magic. Chris said he used to do magic, and he gave up on it and started doing hypnotism, and just is booked. It's 200 shows.
Kind of like Randy Chirac, who was our guest a few weeks ago, and I went to his show last night at the Norman Rothstein Theater.
Oh, I missed that. Damn.
Yeah, he did a couple tricks, and then the bulk of it was hypnotism.
Yeah. Man, I mean, people love it. I don't know what to say. I don't even know where to start with hypnotism. I'm just going to stick to magic.
Stick to magic.
It's my niche.
Yeah. Our guest is Wes Barker. The show is What's So Funny on CFRO, Vancouver Co-op Radio, 100.5 FM. I'm Guy McPherson. Sam Tonning's in the other room. Hello, Sam. And Wes is going to be on a show at the Michael J. Fox Theater in Burnaby on October 21st. Wait, today's the 15th. So next Saturday.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Next Saturday. And it's 4 different magic acts. It's going to be fantastic. People have said to me, I love magic, but where do you see a show? There's no, how do you even know? And there you go. There's a show next Saturday at the Michael J. Fox Theater, and that'll be a good one too. I went to the one at the P&E, which had like 5 different acts. Fantastic.
The best thing about these shows that have multiple acts is you're going to see like pretty much every style of magic, and that's the best thing. And so even if you go, I like magic, I don't like magic, it doesn't matter, because if you don't like magic, chances are you've not seen the style that you like the most. And if you do like magic, you just like all magic. So it's a win-win. If you think you don't like magic, you have to go to this because you're going to like it.
It's a hard sell.
Yeah, right? No, just go right now.
Get your ticket.
Don't go right now. We're not there yet. But it's super good. I'm going to have to decide what tricks I'm going to do pretty quick here.
Oh, you don't even know yet?
Well, I have a rough idea, but I base a lot of what I do on the space, and I've never been in that theater. So I'm going to go in there and check it out and then decide.
Yeah, it's a big stage, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. It depends what you have room for and where the angles are, because magic can be a bit angly sometimes. I'm a weird magician, though, in the sense that, say I'm going to go do an hour, even out of college, an hour, I might normally do 9 or 10 tricks in an hour. So I'll probably prep 13 or 14 tricks ready to go, and I'll decide during the show which 10 of those 14 I'm going to do. And a lot of people have like a really set show they've been doing their whole life. They start here and they go, I don't. I mean, I feel like, oh, what's the audience in the mood for today? Oh, okay, they like this kind of trick. Well, maybe I'll give them one more of those. Okay, oh, they really didn't like that. They don't like mind reading. They'd rather see something visual. Okay, let me just adjust. And I try and keep it on my toes. And it makes me look kind of weird because I look like I'm always looking over at a set list all the time. Some people kind of like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just making this show special. I'm making it up as I go.
Just reading how to do the trick.
Yeah, I should do that too. Oh man, it's a good time. But
is it going to be adult themed or family friendly? I know you do both shows.
Yeah, this one's I was told several times to make it very family friendly. I think that they said no, like don't go young kids. Although there are a few apparently already coming, but it's going to be like I don't know. Most of the audience will be late teens or adults, and so it'll be pretty much we can talk quite frankly, but it's not going to be too inappropriate.
When you do an adult themed show,
yeah,
would that be a theater? Would that be a private gig, what would that be?
90% of my stuff is adult stuff, whether it's at a corporate or even a private house party.
But what does that mean, adult? Swearing? I know you like to take your clothes off.
Yeah, it means I'll do stuff like innuendos and maybe swearing, or I just won't think. I'll just talk the same way I talk to any of my friends.
Right.
And if it involves me taking my clothes off, hey, that's where it goes.
Like at the beginning of your special, when you're running around a bar naked. Now, were you really naked?
I was legitimately naked.
Yeah, because they pixelated your front, but not your back. And the people in there, who were they?
They were all Vancouver comedians.
Oh, okay.
Like Kathleen McGee's sitting in the back of there.
Was that her? I was wondering. Who was that?
I just asked all the comedians to come out, and we're using this bar in Yaletown, and they didn't know we were filming it. Like, my buddy just works there, so we went in before they opened that day, and like we were running with the clock right to when the staff was going to start showing up, and then his manager did show up. Literally, because the last scene we're doing, I'm naked. His manager shows up. I'm running around the bar naked. She's like, "What's going on down here?" It was intense, but we got and that was all the comedy community just coming through for me with all a bunch of favors that day. So we got $1 million. We got a thing that looked like it cost thousands of dollars to shoot for next to nothing. It was amazing. So pretty cool.
There was another one that I did today where you were in the shower. It's an interactive magic trick, Sam. You have to put your finger on the screen.
Follow the squares.
And I only tried it once, but yeah, I mean, it works.
Sure, I'll give this a try when I get home, eh?
Yeah, you end up with your finger over top of my special spots.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, right?
No matter what you do, it's your choice.
Yeah, I'll leave it showing.
You also have a podcast?
I was going to do a podcast, and then I stopped, and I realized I got to just do what I got to double down on what I have traction in. My YouTube subscribers are over 100,000, and I'm like, got 43 million views, and I'm like, why do I have this audience and I'm ignoring them? I'm going to start doing a podcast. This is crazy. So I
can't have the both.
Well, you probably could, but I'm like, I need to really focus on YouTube. YouTube right now is huge. I mean, income-wise, people are making real money on it. Fan base-wise, it's huge. And I'm like, I'm already good at that. So I'm like, I'm going to just not. I did 15 episodes of a podcast, and I thought, no, I got to put more effort into YouTube. And that's why I've really doubled down on YouTube. That's why I'm doing 2 videos a week normally, and then right now I'm doing a video every single day for October, and I'm just really trying to get that. I'm not gonna try and start something from scratch. I'm gonna double down on this thing that I already.
Well, it's also a visual medium, which is perfect for magic.
Absolutely, yeah, totally. Yeah, podcast. I'm just sitting around talking to magicians about magic.
But the one I listened to half of today, I really liked. You were talking to a Winnipeg magician.
Oh, Chris Funk. Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, it was a great talk.
Cruise ships. He's so smart. That guy, man. Yeah, he's done Penn Teller Fool Us. He's done America's Got Talent. He's really been around the block for a while. He is. And as far as corporate magicians go, he is the greatest. He's like a walking theater show. Just all his tech, it's beautiful. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Do you have a big team? Like when you say when you go, you just take 2 bags.
Yeah, for my college tours and normal corporate events, it's just me and my bag. Every now and then I'll bring someone else if I have if it's a bit bigger. But I don't have sound cues or anything that anything fancy really. I play an intro video and then I walk on stage and it's just me. So I like to keep it pretty small. And I mean, yeah, it's just when I do big theater shows like the one that you're all coming to see on the 21st, that's a team. That's there's 5 guys backstage and then there's a whole bunch of and we got lots of
because it's local, you can bring your stuff to it.
Yeah, we're doing some more effects and stuff because you can bring it all. You said, you can't just show up at a college and expect to do a big show unless you.
Right.
I mean, maybe you can, but I want all the money. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I do dumb stuff all the time. I'm always trying to invent new tricks that are high visual, low budget. So I'm doing this one right now where I pull someone names a country and I pull that flag out of my fly. Right? It's hilarious and it's really visual. And I just started doing it a few months ago. And the first time I walked on stage to do it, I forgot about it. I just literally forgot. And then afterwards I go out to the bar and I'm like, oh, I still got this Australian flag stuffed down the front of my pants. I better go to the bathroom and take this out or whatever. And then right when I'm about to get up, my buddy's telling his friend, he's like, I think I'm going to go to Australia next week. And I was like, okay. And then I get up on the chair. I'm like, hang on. And I just end up pulling out this flag and dropping on the table.
Here you go.
So the trick is just to stuff flags down your pants and just wait till someone says the right country. And then you're a magician
too. That sounds like what the trick is, because you said somebody names a country and you pull the flag out.
Yeah.
And then you're saying I just have the Australian flag in my hand.
Yeah, that's part of that's what I mean. You got to wait. Sometimes magic's a waiting game.
Okay.
Opportunist.
Yeah,
Oh, I get
see.
it now. Okay, cool.
Right?
That's
You're
great.
always ready. You always have.
Always
It's
ready.
like why you've had that condom in your pocket for so long, Sam. Right? No,
Thanks,
is that not
Wes.
it? Okay.
Hey, and I also saw a video of you. He did you know this? Not only a great magician, but he has X-ray vision.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I'm not surprised. I don't know. I believe it though.
I saw him down at Kitts
right.
Beach.
Kits with a T, right?
Kitts, and he's staring. He gets women to write something on a piece of paper, then
Yeah.
put it in their bra or their bikini top
Sure.
or their down their pants, and then
Yeah.
he stares at it
Yeah,
and says what's on the paper.
Oh, it's so
that's
funny.
pretty great.
I did a couple of gentlemen as well.
You did.
But yeah, mostly it was for sure.
So
the
what's
ladies.
what medallion am I wearing today, Wes? Let's
You know
prove
what?
this.
I can't do it through glass, and you're behind a
Oh
window. So
man,
it's
okay, fair
hard-
enough. I
hard to
get it.
say.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, you got a pretty sweet life. And you got married recently.
I really did. Yeah.
And how does the missus feel about you staring at bikini clad women?
We got the best relationship ever because she's a flight attendant and
Ah.
I do this job. She's gone all the time. She's flying off to Hawaii with these 35-year-old pilots that are super handsome, staying in the same hotel as her. It's just I don't know who should be more worried. No, it's all good. She doesn't care at all, and that's one of the things that makes it work for us. Today is actually 6 years since we started dating to the day.
Oh, really?
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
And yeah,
and you're here with us.
Of course, naturally. But no, she was there 2 months before we started dating. 2 months before I quit my day job. So she's literally been through this whole progression of me doing $50 gigs at old age homes to getting like random high schools and birthday parties, and then all of a sudden to getting like proper college tours, doing theaters, getting some comedy festivals and TV shows. It's been crazy.
So she was there while you still had your day job.
Yep.
And did she think you were nuts?
I
Or
think
did she support you, or were you guys young enough that, hey, go for it?
we were just, the dating was so new. I don't think she cared because I think she thought in 6 months, if this isn't working, I'll just leave.
But so you didn't meet her through magic?
No, I met her through a friend. I tried magic on our first date. She was kind of impressed. Tried it on our second date. Wasn't impressed. Apparently it's a first date only thing. And she's like, let's grow up now. We've done that. Now let's just talk about other things. So
Did you show her your snake that you bring around with you all the time? I don't mean. Oh man, I'm an idiot.
Has she ever been your assistant? Has there been talk?
there's been talk a couple times of like she might have to step in and be my assistant, but mostly she's my practice the trick on her first person. So that's
right.
At home before I bring it out into public. I'm like, hey, Kristen, come over here. Let me try this on you. So,
and does she have that attitude she had on the second date? Or
she knows a lot about magic now. So now she's very critical when she watches it. So actually, I really trust her opinion now. She might not like, if I told you a joke, you might not laugh, but you might think it's funny.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. So she's like, oh, yeah, that's good. Even though she kind of knows what's going on. She has this weird sixth sense where she's like, I don't know what happened there, but I felt like something happened at this moment. And you're like, yeah, okay, that's pretty good. Okay, I'll just go over here now and play with it some more.
And do you have a workshop where you go in and figure out tricks?
I used to, but now I just started doing my apartment, and she's gone so much that I have the free reign of the apartment. So I just make a mess, making magic tricks, and I clean it up before she comes home.
Hey, so you were working up until, I forget your job. What did you
I used
do?
to work for the city of Surrey, just like a road maintenance guy, filling potholes.
Right, and then you played college basketball. But were you a hobby magician back then too?
Only around like during my summer job for the city when I was going to university. It all started around when I was about 1920s when I learned my first card trick. And so I was a hobby magician.
And there were no YouTube videos to teach you.
No, and they started YouTube started happening a little bit later on. You know, in early 20s, I started looking at YouTube videos for that. But yeah, I just sort of hobby on the side a little bit. And then when I was 25, I quit my job, and now it's been 6 years.
Yeah, look at you.
Look at me now. It's crazy.
Made it to What's So Funny.
Yeah.
All right. So we got a couple more minutes left. Do you think magic is getting more popular?
I think it's going through another wave. Yeah. I think it is.
When was the first wave?
I think maybe there must have been a wave when when like
Houdini
Doug
was
Henning,
there.
well, Houdini for sure,
Doug
but like
Henning.
Di Vernon, right?
Di Vernon. That's a good name to drop. Nicely
Who's
done.
Di Vernon?
Oh, Wes.
Legend. Oh,
Really?
my God, yeah, he's a
Canadian.
legend. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Are there YouTube videos?
No, he's
long dead.
old as dust, and he's dead now. Yeah. Have you ever been to the Magic Castle?
No, I haven't.
Well, when you go, there's going to be a big shrine to Di Vernon. They'll be like, Di Vernon sat in this chair.
How do you spell die?
D-A-I or
Okay.
D-I-A?
D-A-I, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Canadian, living the dream. But yeah, I don't know. I think when Chris Angel and David Blaine, they started doing their thing, I think that's kind of made magic popular. And now with YouTube and everyone seems like you can learn magic easy. I don't know. Maybe it is more popular than ever now.
It feels like it to me.
I think if you talk to the guys that have been working though, like getting corporate gigs and whatever, I don't think they've seen a bump. I think it's been pretty steady. So it's more popular maybe day to day, but still I don't think a lot of people really could name another magician kind of thing. You know what I mean? I think we still haven't moved that mid-level of magicians. I think they're still just super famous magicians and then nobody. So it's hard to say. I don't know. I feel like it's getting more popular, but it's really hard to say.
It's kind of true. I mean, with stand-up too. I mean, so many friends of mine who aren't really immersed in stand-up, but they like it, and they'll go to a show and they'll say, hey, I was in New York or I was in Toronto. I saw this really funny comedian. Oh, yeah? What was their name? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
It's like,
classic.
that's just some random comedian, but they were funny.
I know. I guess that's why people are always like, oh, you got to have a thing,
Well, your thing, you're just this natural magician. You're yourself.
I wish I had a big green dragon suit on, though. People would remember that at least, wouldn't they?
Well, that was by accident, wasn't it? The Pip the
Yeah.
Magic Dragon. He was a working magician.
Regular dude.
I don't know how he got the dragon suit, but
He went to a costume party and wore it and then was doing magic, and everyone's like, you're a magic dragon. And then he just kept doing it.
and he's very funny.
Oh, he's
you got to
a
admit,
funny guy.
right? The
Oh,
comedy magic
I would
there.
never take away from anybody who's really doing it. Piff is doing it. Piff is one of the most original magicians working. He refuses to do a trick that someone else is doing. And I watched him do his 90-minute show in Vancouver last year or whatever this year. And the audience was loving it 90 minutes straight. It was amazing. I loved it. So yeah, shout out to Piff. Good job, man.
So you don't sit there with your arms crossed watching other magicians going, ugh.
Not at all, man. I love it. I love it the same way I love comedy.
But do they inspire you to create new tricks?
Totally. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like sort of a variation. Oh, I like what he did here, but how about if I do this?
Well, like even, for example, watching Piff, he has this camera on stage and he moves it around with him. And most of his show is he's just projecting onto the screen.
Close-up magic.
Close-up magic. And I've never done close-up magic in a theater show before because I didn't see how you could do it without like a team of guys. But he's got this, literally it's a GoPro on a mic stand and it's all just set up wireless and he's moving around by himself. And I thought, yeah, man, that is one way to get some close-up magic to a big audience. And close-up magic is so good. It is some of the best magic you can see.
I love it.
Oh, I love it too so much.
Yeah. You got your bag of tricks here. We can't do any on the radio, of course,
No.
but you just came from a gig.
I did, yeah.
What kind of gig?
It was just a private house party and a bunch. I think it was someone's 35th birthday and they're just drinking and having a good time. And I guess everyone's a big kid at the end of the day and they just all want to see magic. I got a magician for your birthday, Paul. Are you 35?
Are those awkward to perform in, or you like them?
Not for me. I walk in the door and I just assess the scene and I see, oh, okay, they're literally, these guys could be my friends, right?
Yeah.
So I just go, okay, give me 2 beers. Let's drink those real quick and then let's do some magic. And they're like, oh, okay. And I just end up standing on a couch and shouting at people, telling stories sometimes for a long time. And then I do some magic and then back to the stories. And then you can push the boundaries there. And at a house party, you can walk in and you can like set up some magic in their house without them noticing. So next thing you know, like you're like, now look in your fridge. And oh my God. So it's a really cool environment to be in someone's home doing magic to them
Right.
with their stuff. Oh, so good.
They might discover it a few days later.
Yeah, I've done that before too. Oh man! Oh, one time I did a trick for this couple at a house party, and I'm like to this lady, I'm like, hey, is this your card? And she's like, no. And I'm like, uh-oh. I realized I messed up the trick, so I gave her the card. I said, well, put it under your pillow, and tomorrow it'll be your card. And she just walked off, didn't care. And I grabbed her husband. I said, what was her card? And he's like, 6 of spades. I gave him the 6 of spades. I'm like, you know what to do. So he switched it for me that night. And the next day I get this email. It's like a page long. And she's like, dude, she's freaking out right now. I think she wants to change the locks. Like she believes in magic. It's amazing.
You need a little helper sometime.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Wes Barker, it's been a lot of fun. congrats on everything that's happening to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Hopefully this sparks another huge career move then.
Yeah. It probably will.
Probably will.
We'll see you in 3 years. You'll be too big to do this show.
Never.
I hear the saxophone in the background. Oh. That means our time is coming to an end.
So sad.
But people can go see M the Magic Show on next Saturday, unless you're listening to this on podcast, in which case you're going to have to go to Wes Barker's webpage and find out where he's performing.
Yes.
What's the website?
wesbarker.ca.
Oh, they'll never remember that.
No.
But yeah, this Saturday at Michael J. Fox Theater, along with Trevor and Lorena Waters, Vitaly Beckman, and Kel. I might just go see that show.
Please do.
With my son.
Wes Barker on YouTube. Don't forget that.
Oh, yeah, I
get
subscribed.
on there. Thank you. Oh, so you're that guy. Okay. 2011 then.
There you go. That's me. All right, Wes, thanks very much. And like we said earlier, our guest next week, another magician. A world champion magician.
One of the greatest, literally one of the greatest
in the world.
magicians in the world. Yep.
Sean Farquhar. And he's relatively local. He lives out
Maple Ridge or something.
Somewhere out there, yeah. But he's going to be driving in next Sunday. Talk to you then. Good night.